It's a simple issue here.
Yes.
That was politics.
Yes.
To win the seat. Let me say plainly, I've been elected several times. You make promises
that you can't keep.
No, you make promises hoping that you'll find a way of keeping those promises.
Okay.
When you want a girl to marry, you tell her all sorts of things. But you realize after marriage, things are
the ball game is different.
Yes. For example, they tell us they found an empty treasury.
Yes.
That may be one of the reasons where there was no money to do certain things.
It's been discounted.
But I agree that subsidy is not the way to go.
Yeah.
Yes. Government has intervention situations where they can intervene. Say in policy, in terms of duty and taxes, probably lower taxes on certain things to bring in investors who will start manufacturing here locally, create employment, create money in people's pockets, purchasing power, lower the cost of living. And it takes time.
It takes time. How long does it take?
But when,
how long does it take?
A season. For example, maize. You got to plow, plant, and get the results.
Yeah. But again, what is the cost of inputs? That's the other thing. Yeah. If they subsidize the cost of fertilizer, and every farmer is given fertilizer, and then we have rain, because we have farmers who just depend on rain, most of us.
Yes.
But when is it that government will make a policy to help farmers farm with water and not rain?
Depend on rain.
Yes. You understand? Yeah. And I have seen them going that way. So really, imagining that the prices of food would have dropped the next day after elections is far-fetched.
No, but gentlemen, that's not my problem. That's not Kenyan problem. We're looking at our president, and we're looking at what the president promised us. So you are discounting his sentiment.
You know, I will not speak directly for President Ruto. He can speak for himself. But I'm saying I was governor in Kiambu. I made promises.
Okay.
And I fulfilled 85% of those promises. But they didn't happen in the first 6 months.
Okay.
I had 6 months to deal with MCAs who did not know left or right. I'm not saying they're foolish. It was the beginning of devolution. You understand? The trouble that they gave us, Isaac will tell you. The trouble about devolution, about setting up a government. You cannot set up a government in 5 months and it's fully functional.
Okay. And this is a new government.
But we are not saying that we let William Ruto, His Excellency, off the hook.
Exactly.
Of making life bearable for Kenyans. It is in his hands.
He has to
the
do it.
buck stops with him.
But
the point here is the real issues here is not the price of unga or blah, blah, blah. The question is the relevance of the presidential candidates after the elections. The relevance of the big wigs. They have nothing to do after they lose the elections.
Did you make political promises in Bomet you couldn't keep before we get to
that?
Did you keep all your promises in Bomet?
I tried to keep them, but it took time. It can only take time.
So both of you are agreeing this has to take time.
It has to take time.
It has to take time.
There is no way. Okay. In fact, even for the 4 years we were in office, we could not even complete certain very basic things. Like if we wanted to come up with food stores, it took time because like Kabogo is telling you, you all of a sudden realize you have to deal with MCAs who have different ideas on what they want to do. You quickly realize that the treasury has a different idea. They can freeze the money, they may not even release. Now, the president has got to grapple with several issues. But the first one, and which I want to tell you figuratively, is about putting down the Bible, is putting his government to work. How long does that take? He has hardly even put in place the assistant ministers that he was talking about. They are not yet even working. And we are in March. The first year is almost over. But let me tell you, the real issue is we had serious debate with Mother Karua in Naivasha about what happens with the presidential candidates. They become completely irrelevant after every election. So what they are basically doing is to create relevance for themselves. That's why they are saying, let us operate outside the known institutions that have been set up by law. I had explained to Mother Karua that, look, we ought to allow the presidential candidate to also vie for a parliamentary seat so that he can lead his party in parliament. So that he can lead his party in parliament. Right now, it's like driving a bus when you are outside. And they are just trying to drive their buses. And then they are telling some other fellows inside there to drive it for them. Now, they are not comfortable with that. They are simply irrelevant as of now. So for them to be relevant, they got to get some Kenyans into the streets and
But
create a
you
crisis.
know,
Is it plausible that will continue creating a crisis after every election?
I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that.
But we need to get to a place.
Yeah.
We keep talking about electoral justice. When you are not elected for one reason or the other, rigged or not,
Yes.
because don't tell me Isaac and I are out because we are not popular. These people are very popular. I can tell you that for free. When is it the need and the want of the people will be reflected in an election?
In an election.
When is that going to happen?
That's the most important
And I'm
question.
seeing it happening because the other world, people come and they have a booth. You do your elections from Monday, I think you finish on Wednesday. You enter a booth, you put your finger, it gives you permission to vote. It has pictures, you touch it.
No ballot paper.
No ballot paper, you touch it. That story ends there, and your vote goes straight. There will be no story of, bring the votes to bombers. I don't know. When is it we will invest in true democracy in terms of electing our leaders? Because I don't want to retire at 70 and still see the same shenanigans that are happening today. I want to see a Kenya that is growing. And there will always be one president, unless we change our katiba and say we want a council of presidents. You know, one from each region, 8